Welcome to the Rock and Roll Gutter Podcast. Music from the wrong side of the tracks. This is a show that drags you through the gritty alleys of sleaze rock, gutter glam, and all forms of dirty rock and roll. And now, here are your hosts, Andy and Gary.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Rock and Roll Gutter Podcast. With me always is my friend, my co-host, and the creator of the podcast, Andy. Andy, say something.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us again today.
Another episode for you peeps. We're getting dangerously close to our 50th episode, but here we are today. And since we've already covered Andy McCoy, you've probably heard it by this point, but we've covered Sammy Yaffa and Nasty Suicide, it's time to cover Michael Monroe, leaving, of course, our 50th episode for the grand and wonderful Hanoi Rocks, Andy.
Yes, we're saving that for a very special episode.
Yeah, but tonight we're going to concentrate on Michael. So every once in a while, you come across a musician who makes you rethink everything that you thought you knew about rock and roll. Not because he sold the most records, not because he packed stadiums, no, because somewhere along the way, he became the guy that other musicians looked up to. Who we talking about, Andy?
Donny Osmond?
Close, Andy.
Close.
Leif Garrett?
Yeah, I believe somebody with better blonde hair.
David Cassidy?
Yes. Tonight, let's talk about Michael Monroe.
How the fuck old are we with those references?
We're very old.
All right, let's get back to Michael Monroe. Of course, Hanoi Rocks, and solo legend, and a certified maniac with a harmonica.
All true.
So right off the bat, we're going to give you some music here instead of yammering on, and this is the song primarily. He had an album before this, but this song and this album kind of launched him into the public mainstream being a solo artist after Hanoi Rocks, and this is what he's probably most remembered for, and there's a couple of cameo appearances by some favorite people in the video, but we're going to insert the song Dead, Jail, or Rock and Roll by Michael Monroe. Here we go.
Was the meanest dude on the meanest
You know, here's the thing that surprised me most while I was doing the homework for this one, Andy.
What's that?
It seems like everybody loves this guy.
Everybody. Like who?
Well, Slash, Duff from Guns N' Roses, Alice Cooper,
Yeah.
Little Steven Van Zandt,
Little Steven Van Zandt.
Joey Ramone, Debbie Harry, Steven Tyler.
That's like a who's who of rock and roll.
Well, you know, usually you can dig up somebody with a bad story about anybody in this business, but I
Right.
guess not Michael.
Well, never.
Never Michael. I guess because he's not trying to impress anybody. He's just a guy who never stopped loving rock and roll. So, Andy, our thesis for tonight, and we're going to keep coming back to it all episode, is that Michael Monroe never really chased the fame. He would rather have the integrity.
Yeah, and he does go back to that a lot. If you listen to interviews with him, there's things that it's like he could have easily done for the money, and he chose not to.
I don't know. Integrity means a lot, but if we go back before the leather pants, before the harmonica, before moving to New York City, he was just Matty Fagerholm. Now, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Fagerholm. It's either Fagerholm or Fagerholm, and it's Matty with an I.
Either way, we're not good at pronouncing names on the
Yeah,
show.
we should mention that right off the bat. I don't know how many foreign language episodes trying to pronounce certain names that we've got, horribly wrong, but sorry about that.
One thing you can always count on, we'll pronounce the names wrong.
Yeah, you can be guaranteed of that. My name's not Stiv. Well, it's written S-T-I-V. What are you going to, Steve? No, it's Stiv. That's what I said, Stiv. Is it tie me down, really? Is it tie me down? I don't, yeah. But anyways, Matty with an I, he's just, at this point, he's just a kid in Finland.
Yes.
But get this, though, his family was music, but not rock and roll music, mind you. His grandfather played cello and double bass in an orchestra. What is a double bass?
That's an upright bass.
I thought you were going to say two, and that would, being a drummer, I could probably get that,
Right.
But it's four lad.
Yeah, the big acoustic bass, or as they call it sometimes, the doghouse.
All right, so his grandfather's playing cello and double bass in an orchestra. His great-grandfather played oboe. Oboe. That's a very confused family tree.
Yeah, definitely.
It goes classical, and then shirtless maniac swimming from a speaker stack with a harmonica.
Yeah.
It's a total plot twist. But I guess the turning point that Michael speaks of is when he was about 8 years old, he sees Black Sabbath on a grainy black and white Paris TV. Is a Paris TV any different from a Scandinavian TV?
Maybe Paris TV channel.
Anyways, he watches Ozzy throw himself around the stage and he thinks, maybe I could actually do this for a living. At 8? At 8 years old?
8 years old.
I don't know. But after seeing that, that's it for him. His allowance money stops buying toys.
No more models. No more airplanes.
No caps, no firecrackers, none of that lot. He starts buying Sabbath, Deep Purple, and Zeppelin records, Andy.
This kid has been ruined for life.
But then his brother brings home an Alice Cooper record. Oh, and it's over, Andy. It's over.
It's completely over at that point.
Oh, you're introducing Snakes, makeup, theater. Alice wasn't just creating music. He was kind of building a world. And Michael's always quick to say, don't credit me for inventing the glam look. Blame Alice Cooper. Blame the New York Dolls. Blame Little Richard.
You notice nobody wants to take credit for what happened on the Sunset Strip in the 80s?
Yeah, but meanwhile, every single band on the Sunset Strip looked suspiciously like Michael Monroe by 1986.
Yeah, pure coincidence.
Was that a pure coincidence, Andy?
I don't think so at all.
50 bands on the strip with the same hairstyle. Is that total accident, Andy?
I don't believe that's an accident at all. I believe that's let's just call it an homage.
Hey, why don't we shut the fuck up and play another Michael Monroe song? So this is one of the first ones that he introduced to the American public. This is on his first album from 1987. Album's titled Nights Are So Long. This is Michael singing the song She's No Angel.
Turn it up.
Well, she looks too young to know right from wrong. She sleeps all day 'cause the nights
But the guy who really changed things in Michael's life, turns out it was none other than Little Richard. Tutti Frutti. Not just the music, the fact that Little Richard, if you look back on history, he refused to be anything but himself. He was very flamboyant. He lived very loud. This really inspired Michael to pick up a saxophone and then later a harmonica. Here's a detail you'll love, Gary. No lessons, no tutorials. It's just Andy McCoy one day just hands Michael a harmonica, says, here, learn this.
What? What you mean?
So how did he learn? He practiced until his lips literally bled. And that's dedication or insanity, or maybe a little bit of both. But I guess you could look at it as that's a bit of your rock and roll education right there, because this was back before YouTube. So it's just blood and pure stubbornness on Michael's part.
What, lad? Are you wearing lipstick, lad? No, my fucking lips are bleeding. Play it again. Harder this time.
So I guess Michael's dad, he was definitely not even a rock and roll guy at all. But it turns out he used to stop by the record store and he would ask, what are the kids listening to today? So there was no gatekeeping, none of that. Turn that shit down that so many of us got to live through back in the day. But the dad, he really just helped feed the curiosity.
He sounds like a cool dad, Andy.
Yeah. Sometimes, the best thing you can do as a parent is just get out of the way and let the kid be the kid. By the late 70s, Michael's already bouncing around between local bands. Turns out, where they live, there's like one rehearsal space. And ironically, it's in the church basement. And
didn't Rush used to play in a church basement?
Rush did. Judas Priest did. There's actually quite a history of a lot of rock and roll bands getting their start practicing in church basements.
Basements.
Yeah, devil's music in the church basement.
What could happen?
Yeah, who would have thought?
Highway to hell, Andy. That's that's what's going to happen.
Exactly. Turns out another band's rehearsing there too. They just happen to have a guitarist whose name is Andy McCoy. And neither one of them knows it yet, not Michael or Andy. They're going to help change the face of rock and roll music. Let's listen to another song from Michael. This is about from the midpoint of his career. We're not going to follow the trajectory from, start to finish. We're going to jump in the middle here. This is the song 78 from the album Sensory Overdrive from Michael Monroe. Yeah, so these guys, when they first meet Andy and Michael, they just kind of think the other guy looks completely insane. apparently Andy walked in with like this multicolored pompadour. And then he also had earrings stacked up on both ears. While Michael, he's got that super long blonde hair. He's teasing up real big. At that age, wearing full face makeup. And he's wearing apparently an old mental hospital jacket that was decorated by hand. And there's a rumor that Mr. McCoy may have drawn a large penis on that mental hospital jacket.
Oh, decorated by hand indeed.
Is that what you'd call a hand job?
Well, do these opposites attract?
Yeah, it really works out. When people see them coming down the street, normal people, they go to the other side of the street. But these two, they like immediately understood each other and, bonded pretty quickly. But here's kind of a funny sidebar. Over in Helsinki at the time, their street gangs, they would hassle anybody who happened to look different. Your rockers, your punk rockers, didn't really matter. But I guess Andy and Michael, they looked so fucking bizarre that the gangs didn't even know what category to put them in. So somehow they were too confused to beat up on these two.
Look, I don't know about this lot, right?
He's wearing makeup. What do we do about this?
I don't know. Is this some sort of Clockwork Orange?
But, I guess pretty early on, both Michael and Andy, they realized that Finland was not big enough for what they really wanted to accomplish. They didn't know exactly what they were doing or how they were going to do it. They just knew they couldn't stay in Finland. So let's listen to another one of Michael's songs.
Not another one, Andy.
Yes, another one already. We're going to listen to the song Good Old Bad Days. This comes from about midway in Michael's career as well. This is from the album Blackout States. Here we go.
In the good old bad days, we've never learned. The only way was up, down, crash and burn. Always walking on the edge, almost falling off the ledge. What great times they could have been with what I've seen. Where have all the good old bad days gone? When we started, they'd all just begun. Well, I know we can still have fun, and our job ain't never done. Tell me, are you with me? Is there still someone when the good old bad days gone? Well, I haven't lost my mind, not just yet. Well, what was it I was supposed to forget? When we stumbled, it was fun. Did what no one's ever done. Some may lose their faith, but I still do believe. Where have all the good old bad days gone? When we started, they'd all just begun. Are you still here? Are you for real? Do you feel the way I feel? Tell me, are you with me? Is there still someone with a good old bad days Where have all the good old bad days gone?
Andy, leaving Finland wasn't some sort of glamorous career move. No limo, no record deal, no apartment waiting.
Yeah, no money.
They decided, well, let's head for Stockholm because they figure there'll be more opportunity, and the place they'd lined up to stay falls through instantly.
So let's leave one cold climate and go to another.
Yeah, and so three guys in the band are just, in the turn of a moment, homeless in a foreign country.
Yeah.
But McCoy lucks out because his girlfriend's got a place. Everybody else gets the streets.
Yeah, everybody but the guitar player.
You know, today's bands won't drive 2 hours without a fucking bottled water rider. These guys move to another country with zero plan for even where they sleep.
All right.
So they find a rehearsal room in an old fallout shelter near a subway station.
An old fallout shelter. Okay.
But it's only theirs during the day. Security kicks them out at midnight. And then where do we go? It's the subway stations, abandoned buildings, wherever there might be a roof.
Yeah, anywhere we can sort of stay protected, I guess.
But yeah, but here's the deal though, but they're still rehearsing every single day.
Dedication.
I don't know. Michael has told this story before about two street guys that they met who had homelessness kind of figured out like a trade. They knew where to eat, where to stay warm. Michael's always been honest about it. Sometimes they shoplifted. Sometimes they worked whatever job they could find. One cleaning gig had them sweeping a bank floor before sunrise and picking up the loose coins that people had dropped by the day before, you know. So here they are building one of the most influential bands of the 1980s, one nickel at a time. And here's the part that sounds impossible until you hear him explain it. Michael calls those 6 months some of the happiest of his life, Andy.
How is that even possible?
Well, in his own words, he said, I had nothing left to lose.
Yeah.
I had no mortgage. I had no expectations. I had no safety net.
Just winging it.
Just one belief that this band is going to make it. Everything else was negotiable.
That worked out for him, though.
I don't know, but the honest question would be, how long would we last sleeping in a subway station?
Not long.
I guess the answer is like 2 nights tops before you're calling your mom.
Yeah, Mom.
Hello, Mom. Funny story. Turns out chasing rock and roll is expensive. Can I get bus fare? We're going to throw in another song here. Like Andy said, we're just jumping around in Michael's career. We're picking songs that we like. Hopefully you like them too. This song is from the album Live Too Fast to Die Young. This song is Can't Stop Falling Apart. We would tell you to turn it up, but we tell you that all the time. Turn it up if you want to. It's worth it though.
Bloodshot eyes and the sun is blinding. I stumble ahead, but my future's behind me. Loneliness like a hole in the heavens. Prop me up and turn the key. Nothing comes from nothing, and we all end up as dust. You might be a diamond, but my gold she's gonna rust. So I keep on running, keep on fighting, singing from the heart. Won't you pick me up, 'cause I can't stop falling apart. So damn long I've been chipping away now. Ghosts of the past still following me down. I'm alive and I keep pushing forward. Turn me up and you'll see what I mean. Nothing comes from nothing, and we all end up as dust. You might be a diamond, but my gold she's gonna rust. So I keep on running, keep on fighting, singing from the heart. Won't you pick me up, 'cause I can't stop falling apart. Young anger, annihilation sing. No future, no future. Till you clocked up a few more miles on the sand. You're singing God save me. Ah, save me. Nothing comes from nothing, and we all end up as dust. You might be a diamond, but my gold she's gonna rust.
And now a lovely word from our sponsor, Adult Frosty Beverage, which may or may not have the word light in it. But don't judge. Don't judge, people. Don't judge. This is free content.
But these guys, they just kept going because they truly believed the music was worth it. Eventually, they meet a promoter named Seppo. Okay, here we go.
Is this one of the Marx Brothers?
Seppo Vesterian.
Easy for you to say, Andy.
Apparently not.
Seppo Vesterian.
This guy, he had already brought like Iggy Pop over to Finland and exposed him to the climate over there. But this guy takes an interest and he starts booking shows for him. So very slowly, very quietly, doors start to open. And then they decide we're moving to London.
London lads.
London already understood bands like the Dolls, Johnny Thunder's Heartbreakers, Clash, obviously Sex Pistols. So Hanoi Rocks, they kind of fit right in immediately. People weren't really staring at him because he looked weird anymore because, they kind of blended right in with the punk culture over there. They were just staring at this band now because they were so good. They finally, that debut album comes out. The debut album, Bangkok Shocks, Saigon Shakes, Hanoi Rocks. Still one of the best album titles ever put on vinyl, but very difficult to say.
Tongue twister to be sure, lad.
That debut album sounds kind of like it spent the night in jail. It's very loose, kind of like in danger of falling apart at any second, which is something we talk about a lot here. It's one of these things where the bands, they just know how to be just loose enough that they're about to fall apart, tight enough that they hold it together.
Loosely tight in the trade, Sandy.
And then Oriental Beat, second album. This one is one of the greatest glam punk records ever made, and not according to Michael. Michael has said for years, and honestly the rest of the band too, that they thought the mix was kind of buried and didn't really give a good impression of what the band sounded like.
Not to their standards, obviously.
They would remix it decades later, and it does sound much better today. But yeah, it's really not a great example of what Hanoi Rocks really stood for.
40 years later, Andy.
40 years later, they finally got it right after 40 years. And here's the thing about Michael. He almost never brags. This is somebody who clearly influenced Guns N' Roses, Motley Crue, Poison, half of the Sunset Strip, or you could say the entire Sunset Strip.
Yeah, really?
And really, when he talks, he's busy complimenting other musicians. He talks glowingly of Little Richard, Johnny Thunders, Alice Cooper.
He's a humble man.
Yeah, he doesn't just walk into a room thinking, I'm fucking Michael Monroe. He walks in thinking, holy crap, that's Alice Cooper.
Fan is a fan.
A fan. By 83, 84, more people are starting to pay attention. Not just over in Scandinavia, not just over in England. America, they're starting to get a good look at Hanoi Rock, obviously based on the Sunset Strip. Bob Ezrin enters the picture. You may remember Bob Ezrin as the producer behind Alice Cooper, Pink Floyd. We've talked about him before. This guy has got a massive resume. He is a very big building block in rock and roll. Bob Ezrin signs up to produce what would become Two Steps from the Move. This is the record that Michael himself still calls the Hanoi Rocks masterpiece. So every night on a subway bench, every night cleaning up a bank, every empty stomach, it has all led here. The dream? It stopped being a dream at this point. Hanoi Rocks, they're standing right on the edge of becoming international rock star. But unfortunately, rock and roll, it's never interested in fair or happy endings. So let's listen to another one of Michael's solo track. This is the song Young Drunks and Old Alcoholic. Please enjoy.
like Andy just mentioned, everything starts kind of falling into place. America's kind of looking their way. They get
all
Bob,
coming together.
like Andy said, Bob Ezrin. I think, wasn't Ezrin behind the Destroyer from Kiss too? Wasn't he behind that as well?
Yeah.
Guy's got a massive thing, but he goes, all right, I'll make this album with you, 2 steps from the move. And here they are. By late 1984, everything is finally happening for them. The record comes into place. The label comes into place. We're in America. We've got sold out shows. And the piece that made it all click into place was their newest member, drummer Razzle. Not the most technically polished drummer that they'd ever have, but that didn't matter.
It did not.
Razzle had personality, chaos, reckless joy, youth. Had the same kind of energy that Keith Moon brought to The Who. But the second that Razzle joined, the whole band sped up, not just musically, personally, because he kind of became family. And you can tell when Michael talks about him, he's not just remembering a drummer, he's remembering his buddy and his family, which matters because when people reduce this story to just the Vince Neil accident, they miss what Michael actually talks about. He talks about losing a friend.
Right.
Michael, the story goes, had injured his ankle and stayed back at the hotel to rest, but the rest of the band went to a party at Vince Neil's house. They ran out of alcohol. Razzle rode with Vince later that night in Vince's new Pantera or whatever, trying to show off, drunk, hit a patch of water, according to the story, crossed over the center line, crashed into a Volkswagen that brain damaged 2 other people, and killed Razzle. We've talked about this before. We won't belabor the point. Just the fact that the accident took Razzle's life and it changed the future of those 2 bands forever. There's nothing clever to say here. No. Just heartbreak, Andy,
Yeah, there's no need to make light of it at all.
But here's something that deserves real respect. Michael really never blamed Vince Neil. I mean, not then, not now, accordingly. He understood it for kind of what it was, a horrible accident, but not an act of malice. That's an incredibly hard kind of grace to have when you're the one that's left behind.
Yeah, it could not have been an easy position to take.
Because let's face it, if Razzle gets home safely that night, does Hanoi Rocks become one of the biggest bands in America? I mean, they had the songs, the image, Bob Ezrin, fans already in the States, but
everybody was poised for this band to hit the market. I think they were about to go huge.
Andy and I have mentioned this before because we've mentioned the Hanoi Rocks and Andy and Sammy and whatever, but, we won't, we'll make it fast. Andy and I actually had tickets for Hanoi Rocks to hit our beloved dive bar Mason Jar in Phoenix, but the Vince Neil accident happened like 3 weeks before in LA.
Yeah, barely before they were supposed to be here to perform.
We had tickets to see the band, and we never got that chance,
No,
So
I still have my ticket tucked away in my memorabilia.
I guess we'll never know, Andy.
No.
Because after Razzle's death, the band tried, they tried new musicians, a few shows, European television, but something just wasn't there. And in Michael's own words, he said, it just didn't feel the same. So
that would be hard to get over.
Well, plenty of bands keep going anyways, no matter what.
Yeah, whether they should or not.
Yeah, because the name still sells tickets.
Yeah, exactly.
But Michael couldn't look in the mirror and pretend it was still Hanoi Rocks. He'd rather end it than turn it into a cover band of its own history,
Mm-hmm.
But let's go back to remember the thesis that we started out at the beginning of this podcast, because he never chased success. He chased honesty. Everybody wants a payday, sure, but I mean, he wasn't selling out. And this was the first big proof of it. So
would he want to be super successful? Yeah. But at any cost? No.
Well, there's that whole respect, dignity, ethos, ethics, ethics. But anyways, most people would have gone home, it's like, all right, with their tail between their legs, licking their wounds. But instead, Michael packed a suitcase and moved to New York City.
New York City,
not LA, not Nashville.
Well, Nashville wouldn't make much sense.
Not back to London.
No.
He goes to New York. Messy, loud, dangerous, creative. He settles on East 3rd Street, directly across from the Hells Angels clubhouse.
Seems like a safe move.
You know, there's an actual song where he details most of this. It's kind of like an autobiographical song from his album Horns and Halos. So we're going to play you some of that. This is called The Ballad of the Lower East Side from Michael Monroe.
And this is one of my favorite songs from Michael's solo career.
There you go. Andy approves.
Things are different today. Back in New York, I lived down on 3rd Street way back in the day. There were junkies, pimps, and whores. Hallelujah. Now it's squeaky clean. There's no place left to stay.
Most people hear that Hell's Angels thing. They start apartment hunting immediately. But Michael, he stayed right there for 10 years.
10 years, looking like Michael Monroe looks.
Right. Across
Eyeliner,
the street from...
blonde hair, high heels, leopard print, spandex, bangles, baubles, right across from the Hell's Angels clubhouse.
Right next door.
And he doesn't get the beat down?
No, but get this. He gets to know him. And one thing he says about him is they had an old school code. It was definitely, a rough neighborhood, but there wasn't much random crime because everybody knew who was watching. Nobody going to come onto that street to cause trouble because it's loaded with Hell's Angels. But Mike's very first solo show happened on the 4th of July in 1987 at one of the Hell's Angels block parties.
All right, then.
Yeah. So motorcycles lining the streets, club colors flying overhead, somebody asking if they could use his fire escape to hang decorations.
You do what you want, lads.
Right. Yeah.
Like I'm going to say no.
Right. Who's going to tell them no? Through Little Steven, Michael ends up introducing one of the Hells Angels leaders to Bruce Springsteen. So Bruce, meet Snake.
Hello, Bruce.
Yeah, it's got to be one of the strangest introductions throughout rock and roll history.
I'm the Hells Angel. I'm the boss. Not on this street, you're not.
Yeah. Think again, mister. New York, it didn't just give him an address. It kind of gave him, the heroes who he kind of grew up with. They turned into his friends. He becomes friends with Joey Ramone, Johnny Thunders, which seems like a pretty natural given their fields.
Yeah, that whole New York Dolls tie-in.
Right. And then Stiv Bators from...
Legendary.
Yeah, Dead Boys, Lords of the New Church. They were really good friends, super close friends. And then Debbie Harry from
who
Blondie.
wouldn't be friends with Debbie Harry?
Right. I would like to be. And then Little Steven, he met Little Steven through that Sun City, that anti-apartheid thing that took place.
Yeah.
around the time everybody was doing the
Took a lot of shit for that.
yeah, We Are the World kind of horse shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well, I wouldn't go so far as to give the horse shit to the We Are the World.
Well, just to the We Are the World, not to say like necessarily all of that.
Okay, all right. That's a disclaimer, folks.
Yeah, I'm not always a nice person. I apologize.
That whole famine, what a load of shit that,
But I guess, even Joey Ramone used to, if there was like a benefit show and Michael was there, he would always pull him up on stage, get him to perform with him. It's been a lot of countless nights at CBGBs and Michael's just soaking it all in, seeing all of his heroes in action. But Michael said that there was a real electricity to the city when he lived in New York City. Like at any second, something incredible or something incredibly terrible could happen, really just like any time.
Or incredibly terrible.
Exactly. Let's listen to another one of Michael's solo songs. This is the song, While You Were Looking at Me. And this comes from the first solo album that really got traction for Michael. This is from the album Not Faking It.
And again, like Andy said, any second something terrible or incredible happened. So Michael's singing, hey, while you were looking at me, take care of your own business. Turn it up. Andy, there are two kinds of musicians. One would say if you're a drummer, there'd be three, but another drummer joke. Two kinds of musicians. One of them spends their whole life trying to recreate one magic moment.
Yeah.
We're just going to keep throwing that same thing out there, same thing out there, same thing out there. But the other just keeps moving forward. Michael's always been in the second camp. So when Hanoi Rocks ended, he didn't spend 20 years talking about, what could have been.
Right.
He got back to work, Andy.
Yeah, he did.
So his first solo record, the first solo record that was kind of introduced to the public, because he did have an album in 87 called Nights Are So Long. But the first solo record that gained any traction and kind of introduced him to the MTV audience and everything like that is called Not Faking It. And that might be one of the most underrated rock records of the late 80s because it had huge hooks. It had street attitude, always has a little bit of punk energy, and a title that's basically his whole whole philosophy. I'm not faking it. It wasn't a slogan. It's more like a mission statement because we've already introduced this song to you, but the song Dead Jail or Rock and Roll, if somebody asked me what Michael Monroe sounds like in 4 minutes, that's the one.
Yeah, that's the indicator right there.
Yeah, and who shows up in the video? Axl fucking Rose, you know?
Of course.
But this wasn't because Geffen made him, because, well, Axl genuinely loved this band too. Younger fans don't always realize that how much Guns N' Roses loved Hanoi Rocks.
Yeah, they did.
Slash, Axl, Duff, all of them forever. You can hear it all over in early Guns, you know, not a copy per se, but an influence.
And we've mentioned this before. Guns N' Roses, once they got traction on their independent imprint, Uzi Suicide, they released the back catalog of all of the Hanoi Rocks albums.
Yeah, which were hard to come by initially, right?
Right, yeah. Pretty much early on, they were import only.
Yeah, so that was a big move by Guns to do that.
Yeah, it was a great nod, you know, like almost like a thank you for helping us become a band.
Yeah. Hey, kids, if you love the Appetite for Destruction, go backwards and listen to Hanoi Rocks. Suddenly, a lot of things will make a lot more sense for you.
Yes, Izzy clearly was a huge Hanoi fan.
I guess Michael's career after Hanoi is almost unbelievable. Steven Tyler asks him to play sax at Les Paul's birthday.
Yeah.
Slash invites him on stage.
Nice.
Duff becomes a lifelong friend.
Nice.
Alice Cooper, Little Steven, Ian Hunter. Ian fucking Hunter.
The man.
And the New York Dolls, I guess the list never stops, but he never tells it like, ooh, look how famous my friends are. It's always, I still can't believe I'll get to play music with these people.
Yeah, he's still a fan.
Yeah, the fan in him never left, Andy.
Never. So next up, Jerusalem Slim. This album was created with Steve Stevens.
Of the Billy Idol?
Of course, the Billy Idol and of the most impressive high-reaching hair in the world. But unfortunately, this project was kind of short-lived. You know, for one thing, Michael never sits still, but these two, there was kind of like, I think, personality conflicts between Michael and Steven. But then comes along.
Whose hair is going to be higher, lad? It's in the contract.
Do not touch my hairspray. So next comes Demolition 23. Now this, it's a nasty, loud, I guess you could say it's kind of a punk rock record. It happens to reunite Sammy Yaffa, bassist for Hanoi Rock, and then later on, the rhythm guitarist, Mr. Nasty Suicide, he comes in and replaces the guitar player. But Demolition 23 kind of sounds like somebody like kickstarting a Harley inside of a bar, you know, just super loud, super aggressive. Let's listen to a song from Demolition 23's only album. This is the song Nothing's All Right. Take a listen to this. We think you're really going to like this one.
Andy, didn't this song get covered by another band that we did that was influenced? Wasn't this, was this Sammy's? So what band did this before? Or we played before and like, when we get to Demolition 23, we're going to play this one so you guys can A and B it.
When we talked about Sammy, I think we talked about this song.
Yeah, there's two different versions of the song, but listen to this one too.
eventually, Michael and Andy McCoy, they do something nobody expected. They bury the hatchet.
Right between each other's shoulder blades.
Which is where you would expect. Hanoi Rocks somehow comes back.
Makes a comeback.
Yes, and they don't just tour. They start making new records again, Gary. You've got 12 Shots on the Rocks, another Hostile Takeover, Street Poetry. It's like a living, breathing band again. It's not a nostalgic act. And
who would have thought?
Yeah, they're not just like, picking up where they left off necessarily. It's kind of like a whole new chapter. There's that word again, integrity. Michael never wanted to become a tribute band to himself or to Hanoi Rock. They wanted it to go out on their own terms. They felt that they really had taken Hanoi as far as they could take it. So they shut the whole thing down again. But for decades, Michael and Vince Neil barely ever crossed paths. And there's a lot of shit slinging between parties. But years later, Michael decides enough time has passed. He sends Vince a letter through a mutual friend, which according to one interview I heard, Gary, was none other than Joe Elliott, vocalist for Def Leppard.
Who?
I guess doing one of those mega arena tours with Motley Crue. And so Michael, speaking to Joe, and Joe reaches out and says, hey, let's do this. When he sends this letter to Vince, it's not to reopen anything. It's to kind of close the book on it. There's apologies, if anything said over the years caused pain. And Vince, I guess he wrote back almost immediately and was very receptive to Michael. And then years after that, they finally end up meeting face to face at a festival. There's like no speeches. You can say no cameras, but there's photos of the two of them meeting. So I think that's a bit of a stretch there. Michael said he could see the weight Vince had in his eyes, like he'd carried this weight for years.
He's carrying a lot of it today, Andy.
Exactly.
Some would say too much.
Just a little too much. But after everything, Michael said he wasn't angry. He wasn't upset. It was like an overwhelming feeling of empathy. He wasn't hanging on to anger anymore because that definitely wasn't going to bring Razzle back. But forgiveness kind of gave everybody a chance to breathe again.
I don't know. I still question his driving skills.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't want to ride with him after a beer or two.
I don't know. Unless, of course, you're in the hot dog wagon. Oscar Mayer Wienermobile.
The Wienermobile. The big wiener.
Michael's not all about just a heavy-duty rock and roll and a lifetime of fast riffs. The guy could write a ballad, too, and he could write something slower but still has a lot of resonance. Andy, what are we going to play that is the more tender side of Michael?
We're going to go back to that first really solo album that really kicked for Michael, Not Faking It. We're going to listen to the song Man With No Eyes. This gives you a good idea of kind of the range Michael has in him.
Yeah, it's got an undeniable hook. One of these things that's kind of like an earworm. Once you hear it a couple of times, it won't go away.
Yeah, good luck getting this out of your head.
Yeah, Man With No Eyes, Michael Monroe.
Got no home.
Well, if we're moving ahead, let's give you guys the last story. And it might be the most Michael Monroe thing that we've got tonight.
Does it have bleached hair?
Check. Scarves, check. Eyeliner, check. Saxophones, some dangly shit. Dangly shit. I hate that band. I think they're out of Scandinavia.
I think so.
Anyways, they're planning a tribute album, and it was being put together for one of his late friends, so Michael agreed to sing on it, and then he hears a rumor. The label wants to use AI to recreate the dead singer's voice, and Michael stops everything. He writes to the label, not an angry email, a thoughtful letter explaining that even if his friend were still alive, his voice would have changed, his phrasing would have changed, his emotions would have changed. You know, an algorithm can only imitate. It can't recreate any of that. So what did he suggest instead? He wanted to invite singers who genuinely love the guy. Let's celebrate him. Don't impersonate him.
Right. Let's do it right.
So a few days later, the label agreed. Okay, all right, no AI. We'll use real musicians, real performances, real emotion. And if there's a more Michael Monroe story than that, I haven't heard it.
And if you're not familiar with who we're talking about, this was a tribute, a Dead Boys tribute, and a tribute to Stiv Bators. And Stiv was a very close friend of Michael Monroe's. So this meant a lot to him. So it kind of makes sense he would stand up for doing the right thing here.
And as we talk today, as I state, he's still going strong. He's still touring. He's on tour right now. He's still hitting the harmonica. He's still hitting the saxophone. He's still, he's climbing speaker stacks like nobody told him he's in his 60s. And he paid the price for that a little while back by tearing his meniscus in his knees.
Right.
But that's what a lifetime of jumping around the stage and off monitor stacks will get you,
Yeah.
I guess some people grow old, but Michael Monroe doesn't. He just keeps making rock and roll, right up to this point.
Yeah, he's like the Energizer Bunny.
His most recent contribution to us all is an album called Outer Stellar. And he's made this year in 2026. We've come a long way from 1987 to where we're at now, 2026. He's still rocking. We're going to play this song. This song has really funny lyrics, tongue-in-cheek. It showcases the album. This song is called Shinola from the album Outer Stellar. And if we hadn't mentioned this before, on most of these tracks is the wonderful Steve Conti. We can't say enough good things about this guy or his playing or whatever, but he's all over this thing too. And
he's a stellar guitar player.
Andy and I did an episode on his prior band way back in the day, Company of Wolves, and the guy actually reached out to us and was very complimentary. So we're always going to be thankful to him for that. But he's all over this album too. So listen to this track. This is called Shinola from Outer Stellar.
Today in his 60s, Michael Monroe, he's still out there, as Gary mentioned previously. He hasn't slowed down, at least not much. He hasn't sanitized his image at all. And he's still climbing venue speakers like he's a teenager, which resulted in us not getting to see him last year. But
yeah, that's another thing. Okay, so we could have seen Hanoi Rocks, and Vince Neil ended that for us, you know. And then Andy and I are planning on going to see Michael Monroe open for Buck Cherry. How that is even happening, I don't even understand.
Right.
And then Michael tears his meniscus, pulls out, and we get Nashville Pussy instead of Michael Monroe, which nothing bad to say about Nashville Pussy, but we much would have rather have seen Michael Monroe.
Right. At least we did get to see him once. We saw him at the Jar.
Yeah, we did.
When he was touring behind that Not Faking It album,
yeah.
when that first came out.
Yeah.
Hell of a show. Very enjoyable. Super glad we finally got to see him.
Andy and I were part of history, lads.
But underneath all those like signature scarves, the makeup, the saxophone,
Don't forget dangly shit.
eyeliner. You know, Michael, he remains the ultimate believer in the purity of rock and roll. Michael never changed who he was and never will. And that's rare. That's really rare.
Here's one of these guys, seriously. I mean, all kidding aside, he lives, breathes, rock and roll.
Yeah.
There's nothing pretentious, nothing fake about him. He is who he is. He wears his heart on his sleeve. He's a rocker. He's always going to be a rocker. He'll probably be rocking until the day that he's not rocking anymore. But nothing fake about this guy whatsoever.
No. And when we started digging into this one, I was kind of worried we'd spend the whole episode talking about Hanoi Rocks, but instead, we got fascinated by Michael as a person. Underneath all the scarves, the makeup, harmonicas, the chaos, all that crap, there's somebody still talks about Little Richard with the excitement of a 12-year-old that's just discovering rock and roll and porno for the first time.
Ooh, having a bit of a wank, lads.
When he starts talking about somebody like Johnny Thunders, Joey Ramone, Alice Cooper, he lights up. He just loves talking about anybody who inspired him. And maybe that's why some of those people became his friend. Because underneath all of that, Michael Monroe never stops being a fan. He never really chased fame. He chased really, and this is kind of rare, he did chase integrity. And by doing that...
I think that's 3 integrities in this episode, Andy.
Integrity.
Guy's got some heavy balls and some integrity.
Yeah. And by doing that, he became exactly the kind of rock star every other rock star respects.
If you think about it, I think there's a quote that people throw around. I've said this many times, and actually I've experienced this a few times. And the saying is, never meet your heroes.
Never meet them.
You always build them up in your mind of what they are and what they could be and whatever. And then there's certain opportunities where you actually get to meet them and you're like, what a douchebag with a capital D.
Yeah, that was a bad experience.
But after listening to Michael's story, I think he might be one of the exceptions. Anybody that's ever met him says the guy is as genuine as get out. We have a mutual friend by the name of Molly Cody who absolutely loves this guy, and he's as genuine as he can be. She's had the opportunity to meet him a couple of times. He's never been anything but complimentary and personable and friendly, so.
Yeah, she raves about that guy.
Yeah, so I think so too. If you've never explored his catalog, just don't stop just at Hanoi Rocks. Go listen to Not Faking It. Maybe reach on over to the band Demolition 23, crank that up for a few, then circle back maybe to Two Steps from the Move and hear maybe one of the greatest bands that almost changed everything, but you know how the story goes.
Right.
You'll hear why Axl, Slash, Duff, Alice Cooper, everybody else hold this guy in such high regard,
Right.
I mean, think about it. Leaving Finland, surviving on the street, ending Hanoi Rocks after Razzle, walking away from things that just didn't feel right, making peace with Vince Neil, standing up to a record label trying to fake a dead guy's friend's voice with AI. Every single one of these moments, same guy, same principle. And this is the story of Michael Monroe. We're going to fade out on a song from Outer Stellar, and we're going to insert this song, When the Apocalypse, easy for me to say at the end of the episode after multiple beers. It's from that album. This is a great song. It leans almost very close into power pop and whatever. So thank you. I guess we've set this up. We've covered 3/4 of the members, almost all the members of Hanoi Rocks now. And for our next episode, which will be our 50th, and believe me, we never thought that we would get this fucking far, folks. So thank you to those that have been out there. But we're going to unveil, and why has it taken so long? Because actually it's a daunting task to cover the mountain that is Hanoi Rocks. Andy and I have put off some of these larger episodes episodes for, like our 25th and make them a little bit special. So we've got something special coming for you, and I'll let Andy take it from here on out. Love you, peeps.
A band like Hanoi Rocks, you can't just gloss over them. We want to do justice to that band. So next episode 50, which is, like Gary said, kind of surprising that we're there or that we're already there. As always, we appreciate you hanging out with us. We hope you've enjoyed us leaning into the Hanoi stories here. I know that's kind of dominated everything recently, but
it's called a setup, Andy.
That's right. We're setting it up for success. So thanks for hanging out with us as always. We appreciate it. Give us a like on social media. Share us with your friends. Anything you can do to spread the news.
All that general good stuff,
All the good stuff.
We're trying to build the numbers, peeps. With your help, anything is possible.
We're growing and we're growing. And we
kind of like a
it.
fungus, but hey.
Exactly. Yeah. Mold. But thanks, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us. We appreciate it. And until next time, stay trashy, my friends.
Your name on the side, you can drive like we're big in dreamland. Such a shame we never stuck it out when the music was still underground. Now baby, just check my game, I'm still alive and sane. You ain't no Guinevere, ain't no Lancelot, but when the apocalypse comes, I got the perfect spot. Street, the siren screams, reminds you where you are tonight. With junkies walking straight lines, and the cops don't get no fight. And in Union Square with the rock and roll here, like the days of Stone Cold Fever. Gotta storm the stage, break out the cage, convert the non-believers. Children.
And to our fallen comrade, Mr. Mink, I think Pink Floyd said it best. Wish you were here. You're here in spirit, brother.
Godspeed, Mink, wherever you may be.
You've been listening to the Rock and Roll Gutter Podcast. We hope you enjoyed our deep dive into the dirty world of rock and roll. If you did, please consider subscribing and leaving us a review on your favorite podcast platform. It really helps us reach more listeners like you.
And don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Rock and Roll Gutter Podcast for all the latest updates, news, and more.
Got questions, comments, or suggestions for future episodes? Reach out to us at rnrguttermail@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you.
So join us again next time for another wild ride through the raw and gritty side of rock and roll. So until then, keep it trashy.